Hey guys, it's San and welcome back to the BulbaSquad. So today we're going to be doing my spider system over Cosmic Eclipse as I promised so long ago, and I promise I have not forgotten about the Q&A. I plan to do that. So, without further ado, I shall explain what the spider system is, because I have a lot of new viewers. So, the spider system is what I use to predict how likely it is for a set to age a certain way. Essentially, I'm looking, how is this set going to age? Is it going to age like fine wine, or is it going to age like milk? Now, there's no way to properly do it. However, I am able to, at the very least, get some form of a direction. And the more of these I create, the more references I have. That is the purpose of this system. We gather the information, and then we're going to run through it together and interpret it. Because that's what it is. Organize the data, interpret it as best as you can. I show this so that you guys can use it. So, let's get to it. SPIDER system is an acronym. It stands for Supply, Playability, Intrinsic Value, Deviation, Expectations, Reality. Now, all of these are done over set time periods. 0 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, and 12 months to out of rotation. For those of you who do not know what out of rotation means, every year, Pokemon, a few sets go out of rotation, meaning they are no longer playable in Standard. Historically, when something is out of rotation, it is no longer printed, usually. The only exception has been Evolutions, because that was, we don't know if it was printed or if there was just so much supply, until March of last year. There was that much. And Sun and Moon Base, those ETBs, I don't believe it was an actual reprint. I think it was a repackaging, so take that as you will. And we have all of these constants. Now, if I check off any of these constants, historically, the data has shown these sets automatically do better. If they have a Charizard, a Waifu, shinies in them, or a good Pokemon diversity, like good spread, not just, all one generation and no one cares about them, kind of like a Steam Siege. So, let's get to it. First, Cosmic Eclipse. Does it have a Charizard? Yes. Charizard Brexen. Waifu? Yes, the main one I can think of is Cynthia Caitlin. Pokemon, absolutely. We have a very strong lineup. We have Venusaur Snivy, Blastoise Piplup, Charizard Brexen, Reshiram, Zekrom, plenty of them. So we're looking good. Fortunately, no shinies, but that's okay. We still hit 3 for 4, and that's actually really good. Now, S stands for supply. What this means is, how is the supply looking at said periods in time? At release, supply was neutral. What that means is there was not so much supply that it outweighed demand and it drove the prices down. It means if the supply is good, it means that it's low and it's causing prices to go up. Supply demand isn't looking good. Too low supply, too high demand. 6 to 12 months looked incredible. 6 to 12 months after the set released, we were already in 2020. Like, it was already starting to go crazy. And these prices were starting to move already. So that was really good. Now, 12 months out of rotation, we had a scare of a reprint, because that's the number one thing. The biggest risk in all of Pokemon is the reprint schedule. And we are pretty much out of rotation. This month, it goes out of rotation, the entire Sun and Moon block. And that reprint that was scheduled never came. So, I think we're in the clear. Supply is fantastic. Playability, this section doesn't matter. The reason playability exists, and those of you will point out that in the past, I haven't marked that too many times. The reason I have it there is if it's a set that is mainly propped up by playability, it is high risk, just like Roaring Skies. So Vivid Voltage is one of those sets where it's like in between. It has playability, but not so much that's where all the value is. Cosmic Eclipse, exact same way. Has some playability, but it's so collectible that outweighs the playability and it makes it null. This is what we like to see. If it's not playable, we're good. If it's very playable, that's very risky when it comes to reprints and the actual intrinsic value. So intrinsic value, some of you will know it as EV, expected value. Right out release, it was fine. Nothing incredible is bouncing around. Almost every set at release should look like this. 6 to 12 months. Intrinsic value started to get real good. However, recently, Intrinsic value right now is insane. Let me run the numbers for you on that one. The way I get the intrinsic value is I calculate out how many of each certain card category are we going to be getting. For Cosmic Eclipse, we have the GX, the Full Art, the character cards. If you look at Pokelector, character cards are segregated from Full Arts and have a different border. Secret Rares, and then Gold cards, because those each have different pull rates. So this is the pull rates I went with. GXs are between 4 and 5 to a box, so I went with 4.5 from my math. Full Arts are between 1 and 2, so I went with 1.5. Character cards, 3 and 4, 3.5. Secret Rares, 1 in every 2 boxes, so I multiplied it by 0.5. Gold cards, 1 in every 3, so I multiplied it by 0.33. And that's how I get my intrinsic value. But, major caveat. Whenever we are in rotation, anywhere between here and here, or not there, here, within it's still being in rotation, do the intrinsic value according to the raw card value, because that means within this time frame, more cards can come into existence. We do not go by the graded value. But the moment we hit this milestone, out of rotation, we switch it and we go into the graded values. And so right now, the intrinsic value is stupid. I didn't think it was real until I actually did it. It comes out to $725 in value. If you go based off of the graded cards right now, that is taking into account that when you open up these boxes, this is back in the day when you could get a PSA 9 or 10 out of the box. It wasn't one of those situations like Shining Fates where you're going to be pulling pack fresh 6s. Cosmic Eclipse has really good grading rates. Knowing that, this is quite surprising. Oh, there goes my marker. Quite surprising. But I must add a caveat. We are not through the November to March submissions of PSA. We do not know what's going to come in that time frame. Within that time frame, we can get an absolute ocean of Cosmic Eclipse graded slabs. And to prove my point, GXs, the average value of GXs was actually kind of stupid. It was around like 30 bucks. It was like 20 something bucks for GXs because they were just so valuable, and that's absurd. And all these cards, I don't know what's going to happen, so keep that in the back of your mind. Back to the system. Deviation. Deviation means how often do I miss my intrinsic value? The easiest way to tell this is look at Burning Shadows. In Burning Shadows, most of the time you're not going to hit the intrinsic value. Why? Because the Charizard. All of the value is placed in the Charizard, so if you hit it, you're way past the intrinsic value. If you don't hit it, you're way below it. That is something I do not want to see. I do not like lottery sets. I like consistency. Deviation. It has been just perfect. There is such good diversity. The value is everywhere. So it means that even if you don't hit the best card, you're going to be really close to the intrinsic value. Expectations. Everyone actually... So this one was a little strange. People were actually kind of neutral on it because the thing is, this set was eclipsed by Hidden Fates for a long time. And we all know how good Hidden Fates was, and this was the set that was right next to it. Because that happened, Cosmic Eclipse didn't get as much love as possible. It was actually kind of calm for a while. Up until now, people really have expectations for it right now. Reality. It was solid. Like, it was alright, and it started creeping up around this time frame. Once we started getting a little older, it started creeping up in price. I believe June, July of 2020, we were looking at like high hundreds. It was getting up there in price. And now, I believe it's like $500. It's really pricey. Knowing all this, what is my prediction? So, let's break down the info now that we've gotten it all. Supply is fantastic. No playability, that's the absolute best thing for us right now. Intrinsic value, it's knocking it out of the park. Deviation, always got it perfect. Expectations and reality. everything is going good for the set right now. What this tells me is this set is primed to age like wine. However, here's the issue. Everyone thinks the same thing now. When everyone's on board and thinks that something is a good investment, everyone likes to get in on it. And just like everything else that's been happening all of this year and last year, when everyone hops on board, especially when the hype dies down, we're going to see staircased growth. We're not going to see nice linear growth most likely. We'll see something akin to kind of just slowly going up and staying stagnant, because as we hit certain milestones, the set, people will simply let go of it. But overall, I think it'll age fine. This is 100% an above average set. One of the things you need to keep in mind is every time people talk about chilling grain, they talk about it in reference to Cosmic Eclipse. They're saying, oh, this is the Cosmic Eclipse set of Sword and Shield. That lets you know how they really view the set, that it is above average. And even though it was next to the behemoth that is Hidden Fates, it's holding its own. It's actually aging well. What is it? Hidden Fates is like tripled in value right now, and I think Cosmic Eclipse is like quadrupled. It's definitely holding its own. But do not move into it so bullishly simply because we see this intrinsic value right here. That intrinsic value could very easily, we hit over here out of rotation onward, it could very easily turn sour. If the market miscalculates, increases the box price, and simultaneously the PSA submissions come back and decrease the intrinsic value of these cards. If that occurs, you'll be stuck holding the bag for a while the box recovers. And the name of the game in Modern is to reduce your opportunity cost. So I know this is kind of boring. It was an interesting conversation. You would not believe how hard it was to get that intrinsic value. It took me a while. There are so many cards in that set. But again, if you watched this far in the video, tell me, what do you guys think of my spider system? What would you change? What would you add? Do you think it's great how it is? What did you guys think of my overall end thoughts? Where I think the set is, where it's going to be heading. Do you agree, disagree? And lastly, if you're not subscribed, we're still trying to push towards 2K, just for the extra Evolving Skies booster box. Do it if you enjoy this kind of content, because this is the boring stuff you'll be getting. So don't subscribe if you don't like this. Thank you guys for watching this video, and if you want to support us, Patreon, $1, that's it, no more shilling. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.